You kept pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds. And when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me.
From Lincoln, Alabama, the Racers Elite Nextgen Cup Series is ready to get it on here at our sport's largest and most exciting oval. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Talladega Superspeedway, where tonight we're looking to see 75 laps of some of the best drafting, racing, passing, side-by-side action that you're going to see on the service this week. I'm Dave Riegel alongside my broadcast partner extraordinaire, Mr. Jordan Brockel, as we're ready to get it on here in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast Booth. We want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. Thank you for welcoming us into your homes, onto your phones, wherever you may be and however you may be listening. And if you're listening right there on a mobile device, make sure to pop those AirPods in so it can be just you, me, and the microphone. I'm Dave Riegel, and we'll be with you every step of the way, from the green flag to the checkered flag, right here on Sim Racing Media. And folks, glad to have all of you in with us tonight as Jordan and I are ready to bring you this action. Jordan, I can't wait for this. This is my favorite racetrack on the circuit.
Absolutely. I freaking love Talladega, and, thanks to Talladega Nights, all I can think of when I, come to this track is I want to go fast. And, I'm just looking forward to, side by side, 3 wide. Someone's probably going to try to go 4 wide at some point. Not going to work, but they're going to try it. So anytime we come to Talladega, it's certainly a thrill of a race. So I'm hyped. I'm amped up. I can't speak. ADHD, hyperactivity, whatever you want to call it, is in full effect right now.
Just, general effery. Here's the thing. Right now, as we look out the window, 77 degrees in the stands, in the sim stands, that is. 88 degrees on the track. It's a little cloudy here. That's going to take some of the heat out of this racetrack. What that's going to do is it's going to tighten up that grip. And these guys are going to be laying down faster times than you're regularly used to. Right now, during qualifying, you're only seeing about 53-second laps. But once we get underway and that pack gets formed up, you're going to see, somewhere in and around 47, 48, 49-second laps. I mean, these guys are going to be moving at 194 miles an hour into the turns. And this place, first of all, I know that we can say that Indianapolis is the place that Penske built, and we can go on all these other cliche rounds. This is the place that Earnhardt made exciting. Great comeback. Appreciate your input. As we get moving here, we're taking a look right now at Matt Mettler, of course, my co-voice of Sunday Night NASCAR. I say co-voice, but he knows that really he's just playing backup to a beautiful brass instrument right here. But Matt Mettler comes across the line. He's going to hug as close as he can down there. And Mettler just goes 15th fastest, 53.47. Looks like Andrew Teft, chief cook and bottle washer here in the Racers Elite Cup Series. He goes fast time with a 53.26. So there's only about 0.2 of a second between first and 15th. That's almost so tight that you can't get a snare drum through it.
Yeah, absolutely not. And we're going to see, these times definitely pick up as, they get in the pack. So, these are just solo times, and they already look blazing fast and super close. And, these cars are going to be tight together for 75 laps. I'm sure if we get some green flag pit stops, we're going to see that big separation, several smaller packs that are going to be trying to hunt down the main pack. So, it's what I love. And, this guy right here, Alex Teft, this is who I want to really focus on here. I know he's going to be starting towards the back, it seems, based off of his time that he posted now, but this man in the Truck Series had back-to-back third-place finishes, and he had a little bit of a struggle when the new truck model came out, and he's really bounced back in the Truck Series, so I look for him to do really well here tonight and try to carry that momentum from the Truck Series over to the Next-Gen Series.
Yeah, Alex Teft is, I'll tell you what, both Teft brothers out of Hope Valley, Rhode Island are really something special. First off, they may be brothers, but they race like brothers that are sitting in the back of the old family station wagon, that's for sure. There's no mercy. There's no, I'll let you go for now. It's no, you got to beat me. You can get up here, but now the trick is you got to figure out how to pass me. And that's what happens between those two guys. Here's Brandon Honeycutt out of Elizabethton, Tennessee. I don't think you can point that direction. I'm not trying to tell him what to do, but
you can't park there.
Moving. You can't park there. As we also look down here to Richard Ode, an ode to Richard. Oh my goodness! Or it could, if I don't know if they call him Dick for short, but it could be ode to Dick. As just thought I'd throw that out there. As Brandon Honeycutt gets off, we already wrapped up qualifying. That means that we're going to be getting ready to go back to go green flag racing momentarily. Drivers going to be hopping into their race cars momentarily. Come on, let's hop on in here. Oh, I've got a new name that I'm going to stumble over. I can already see it in our standings. This is going to be fabulous. But here are our results of qualifying as drivers hop into the race cars. Andrew Teft's going to be our pole sitter. He is out of the Chicken Coop Racing Series and, of course, laid down a 53.261 second qualifying lap. Diego Rodriguez, of course, you folks all know him. There we go, from Sunday Night NASCAR Cup Series action, and of course the Truck Series, where according to his new paint, it's going to be the Honey Buns Spirit Airlines pickup truck. But anyway, John Ross is going to sit on the inside of row number 2 with Brendan Wilcox on the outside of row number 2. Row 3 going to feature Brandon Honeycutt and Truth Hoke, while Ed Jurgen and Kirby Wainscott sit in row number 4. Eric Dodd and Curtis Ecker round out your starting top 10, while starting in 13th position going to be Shay Cox and Lee Campbell. Alex Teft and Leroy Koblenz, I can't believe I got through that one, is going to be in row number 8, while row 9 going to feature Kensley Smith and William Skinner here in 18th position. Matt Mettler, our buddy here, alongside of our other teammate, Mr. Alan Bergen. Oh, God, this is This is a disaster waiting to happen. The two of them are next to one another. Jordan, I don't know if I can handle this.
Yeah, I don't know.
I will apologize in advance for Sim Racing Media. We're not responsible for the poor decisions made by our teammates on the racetrack. Row number 11 going to be Rob Yost and Paul Shaw, while Chantel Pottle, oh, look, a neighbor from the north up there in Canada, going to be sitting alongside of Dennis Kane and starting shotgun on the field tonight is going to be Nicholas Falsetta, which is opposed to Nicholas Falsetto, which is a different range of singing here in the 27 machine. So 25 cars ready to take the green flag here tonight. That's a fair field, and that's a pretty good group. I'm going to hope that we see a lot of green flag racing. These are fixed setups, so everybody's already going to be on an even keel with that chassis.
Yeah, and it's going to be crazy to see 25 cars here. You know, it's going to be a big battle with some of these cars and handling, as well as, you know, this car is very aero sensitive and, you know, aero dependent. So I mean, you get outside of somebody just the wrong way, and, you know, it makes the car light, and they could just, you know, oversteer, understeer, you know, whatever we may have it, and the next thing you know, you have someone sliding sideways in the middle of a pack of 25 cars.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, and it's something that we're all going to have to keep an eye on tonight. And of course, we'll be making sure, as we start to see these cars make their way down the backstretch, that we try to get you all of the good views tonight as we sit right here on the top of the safer barrier. And in real life, and they don't do it here in the sim, but in real life, I love when these cars go blowing past the safer barrier and those tiny little pieces of foam sit there like scared little soldiers just shaking.
Yeah, dude, it's one of my favorite things to see, and I feel like I focus on that more than I end up focusing on the cars that are going by in that camera. I'm just like, look at the foam move, which is where I definitely feel like, you know, my ADHD or other spectrum things that I probably have, you know, I just looked right at them now. Like, we bumped to that camera, and my first thought was to look at the foam pieces, even though they don't move on the sim.
Right, it's like this. Squirrel!
Yeah, exactly. It's full-on squirrel.
Well, right now, the iRacing.com pace car is bringing us out of turn number 4. And I'll tell you what, this place makes me excited. Now, remember, the start-finish line is down beyond the apex of the tri-oval. So as the iRacing.com pace car makes the hard left turn down pit road, the only thing that's left to do is it's time to wipe the visor and adjust the 5-point harness. Grandma, grab your honey buns, call a friend, and settle in. Race fans, it's showtime! Green flag in the air. Let's rock and roll at Talladega.
And you see that bottom line's already formed up a lot better than that top line. And, you know, Hope falling off with Wilcox there just a touch. And that's going to be a big thing. Is, you know, these restarts are, for one, going to be a big thing. You don't want to get too far out. You don't want to be left stranded. And certainly you want to try to stay as tight as possible so that there's no reason that you don't, you know, make a run here. As you see, Wilcox and Diego are going to be clear, and that top line rolling.
That top line is going to be formed up real nice. And here's the thing. In a place like Talladega, the speed is locked up in the top line. You've got to get yourselves organized. You've got to get it tighter. I mean, right now, I see the 10 here of Kirby Wainscott. That's Colonel Kirby Wainscott. Now tonight in the Racers Elite paint scheme. I guess he didn't want me to say his ride was finger-licking good anymore. But, you know, here's the thing. Wainscott going to have to get right behind the double nickel. There he is, of Truth Hoke. And they're going to have to do something, because otherwise it's all going to fall apart. The top line becomes a shovel line. You get yourselves drafted up, you get up there to the leader, and all of a sudden the leader of that top line can drop down, abandoning the rest of the line, but eventually it's almost like playing hopscotch the entire way through. As we take a look here, Diego Rodriguez in the hail to the victors, number 20, leading the way right now ahead of Brendan Wilcox.
Yeah, and you see they're actually, just as I went to say, they're single filing out. I see that massive, almost 3 wide, just a little bit further back. And, you know, it's settled down to about 5 cars, 6 cars on that outside line. So, seeing some early organization here by these guys.
Diego Rodriguez, Brendan Wilcox, Andrew Teff, John Ross, and Brandon Honeycutt. That's your top 5. The low line now all of a sudden going single file. We see the 13 here thinking maybe he's going to peek out. He's either peeking out to see if he can make a little bit of headway, or he's trying to burp the engine here and get some cool air in the grill, because that's something that becomes a real factor as we drop down that those timing lines. But, temperature here becomes a real factor. Oh, look at this, a third line forming. Let's watch the 60 of Lee Campbell. Good God. And the double nickel of Truth Hope now has to hold on for dear life as he is just slinking back through the standings.
Yeah, and I wanna point out, I think we talked about it last week. One of the guys in the truck series, because you said Lee Campbell, and that I'll get to that in a moment. But Kyle Hess told him he needs to run a Hess truck paint scheme, and the following week, this past Tuesday, dude was in a Hess truck paint scheme. So now I told him we got to get Lee Campbell in a Campbell suit.
Contact between the 8. Here we go. Skidder. Well, this isn't going to be fun to look at. It's not going to be fun at all. Watch the 8 car here, working the low side just behind the 7 of Shea Cox. He bumps off Cox. Oi! He really banged his nose off of Cox. You're going to leave me hang. I thought we were friends. If you want promoted to a work wife status like Mettler, those are the times where you're going to have to lose it when I say, watch this. Watch the 8. Look, we'll do this again. You have another chance. Now, all of a sudden, the 8 just gets a run and bangs his nose right off of Cox. It sends Cox safely away. I'm a grown-up. I've sired children.
I mean, it is a Looney Tunes car, so.
Well, that's going to make things interesting. Let's make sure that everything's all right with Cox up here.
Bergen's already squirrely, and I mean, we're under pace laps here, and he's already swirling around. I mean, he dropped off the apron. And he's going in. Yeah, I mean, he said he's going to try his best to not have you have some kind of medical episode in the booth, but I mean, we both know at some point, some way, some shape, it's gonna happen.
Want to welcome everybody in tonight to the Tony Trapassa Memorial Broadcast booth. I want a special howdy there to Honey Buns, tuned in there with the old AirPods. Sup, baby? Diego Rodriguez up here, speaking of which, is going to have Honey Buns on his race truck. He doesn't know it yet, but Tane Hodison already painted his new race truck for the Sunday Night NASCAR Truck Series. You're welcome.
Honey Buns. Honey Buns are one of the, my biggest weakness. I cannot tell you how many times I've gone to a vending machine, gotten 2 Honey Buns, and scarfed them down. It's probably why I'm fat, but...
It's just more to have fun.
Exactly, but I mean, that's going to be interesting.
Went to a hibachi sushi joint last night. Let me tell you, when they offered the all-you-could-eat buffet, the all-you-could-eat, it wasn't a buffet. It was more like an option, if you will. The all-you-could-eat option. That's challenge accepted, and I really bitched out after a while. I couldn't do anymore. I was really kind of ashamed of myself. I think I'm getting old.
I don't know. I don't know. I feel like going to an all-you-can-eat buffet is dangerous for me. I feel like I still have, right there at that point where I can still definitely put away some food, but I'm not going to feel very well after it. And I don't know if you're like me, but if there's a little bit of something left for dinner and you're getting a second helping and you get what you know you can eat, but there's not really enough for another portion, you're going to try to take that what's left and eat it anyway.
Here's what's going to happen. Okay. This coming summer, you're going to drive up here, and the two of us are going to, there's going to be more than just the two of us, but we're going to go to Reading, a little town about 70 miles northwest of Philly. We're going to go to the Reading Fightin' Phils. That's a AA affiliate of the Philadelphia Phillies, and they have an all-you-can-eat option of ballpark food. All-you-can-eat burgers, hot dogs, the whole schmear. Chicken. I do love a good chicken. But, chicken. But, needless to say, do you want to see my impression of a hot dog?
Oh, God.
Favorite movie line. But anyway, here's my impression of a hot dog. Anyway, but they have an all-you-can-eat option, and ballpark food, line me up. Like, warn the children, stay out of the way. Don't put your fingers in front of my face. It's going to happen. All-you-can-eat pasta salad.
See, I could do the pasta salad. That's the problem.
I will beat an old woman up. If there's one hot dog left and she thinks she wants one, especially if I see her reaching for the ketchup to go on that hot dog, we're fighting.
Oh, dude, and I know, like, I'm a pescatarian, so I don't have to worry about the hot dogs as much as you.
We can make you fish dogs. They just look like turds.
You can have all the hot dogs and that you can handle.
That sounds really awful.
Well, if you got your mind out of the gutter every once in a while.
No, folks, just run it back right here on YouTube. What did he say? Sounds awful. What you trying to say?
Well, I was just saying, as many hot dogs as you can take at once. Now you got me over here thinking wrong.
My all-you-can-eat record at the Reading Fightin' Phils is 14. It's so much. Diego Rodriguez comes into the tri-oval here. We're headed toward the Geico restart zone. Now remember, the start-finish line's a little bit further down. Here's the restart zone. Rodriguez drops the hammer, and off we go. Let's go on board here with Matt Metler as these V8s roar back to life. Metler says that he's my mom's favorite driver. That's fine. She's used to having special needs children.
See, look, I said I want to go fast, and look right there on the back of the 41 of Aaron Marquis. I want to go fast.
I want to welcome everybody into the YouTube.com live chat, the Allen Experience, which is definitely an experience. Thoughts and prayers to the Boone, North Carolina area. And, of course, we do want to touch on that later. Tony Rodriguez, Rowan Lloyd, and Heather H. all in here. Looks like Diego and the double nickel have got pretty big show. Pretty big show.
Yeah, look, we're already going 3 wide again here. We're not even a full lap after the restart. And like I said, Alex Teff looking right here might try to push 4 wide. I'm telling you, someone at some point is going to push this 4 wide, and it's going to be very, very sketchy and very hairy.
Well, listen, if it's that hairy, you got to shave. Oh, God. Oh, Jesus. I love this place. I friggin' love this place. 193 miles an hour. We go 3 wide, and everybody scatters like cockroaches when you turn the lights on. Look at Matt Metler. Right here, he is the meat in this sandwich. And all of a sudden, he squeezes himself up to the top of the pile. Whoa! Easy there, big fella. That was the 14 making the swing. That's Lee Campbell, who should be the 60, but he decided that he wants to be the 14 tonight for some reason. There's the 78 just behind him. That's Richard Ode.
Oh, Brandon Honeycutt fitting into a spot not big enough for him. Some
of these guys are racing like this is the last lap, and we're only 10 laps in this thing. Let's watch Kensley Smith taking the Aaron's Dream Machine. It's a Chevrolet instead of the Toyota that it originally was. And now gets a good shove from Brandon Honeycutt here atop the pile. And all of a sudden, there it is. There's that shovel line. The top line finally got their stuff together. And now Brendan Wilcox is, whoa, considering it, shooting up to the high side. That's the 06 of Chantel Potter. Good gravy.
Yeah, and you can see the DEI guys of the 15 and 13 of Honeycutt and Kensley Smith doing kind of that tandem draft here and trying to get away from these guys here. It looks like the 78 of Odie's going to back off, head towards the back of the pack now.
Well, you know, the tandem draft was originally made popular by the Car of Tomorrow when it came out because they were so awful that the only way that you were going to make speed here was by tandem drafting. You know, you couldn't really pack race. You could only do, you know, one and whoa. Look at this battle up here for the lead. John Ross now in the 44. He's got the 42 of Larry Koblenz just behind him. Leroy Koblenz, sorry. He looked like a Larry to me. I read real good. Look at Matt Mettler. Look at my man right here.
You stole it from me. I was going to say, look at Matt Mettler finding his way up there. I didn't want to say it because curse.
Because every time we say it, something bad happens to him. I know. Matt Mettler just slithers his way up here into P2, now giving a good healthy bump to Lee Campbell. Not related to Glenn Campbell, from what I assume, unless Lee Campbell does like being a rhinestone cowboy, in which case I'm not here to judge. I don't think I could pull off rhinestones.
I don't think I could pull off anything more than just basketball shorts and a t-shirt that's too large for me.
I mean, Alan Bergen can barely pull off his socks. So, where is he, by the way? Where's my boy? I miss him. There he is.
He was 12th, and then he fell.
There's Alan Bergen back here running in 15th position. He's just to the high side of the 55. Now watch the 92. That's Ed Jurgen on the low. Let's go on board here with Jurgen because he's kind of... Oh, here we go. There's our first Ricky Bobby impersonator in front of us in the 41. Says, I want to go fast. We'll get to that in just a moment.
Did you not listen to me?
What'd you say?
I said that 5-10 minutes ago.
I'm sorry.
Do you not hear when I speak?
No. If we're going to have a work marriage, you need to know that I have very selective hearing.
I can see that. No, I thought I was going to be in a good marriage, you know, with you. You see Brandon Honeycutt went fast time. Which doesn't really matter a ton here, but it's still crazy to see, you know, someone pull off a 49.32. I mean, you're getting close to that 48 time, and that's relatively unheard of.
"14 laps of 75 in. I can't get there. It is. Everything was suddenly backwards here on my controller. Thanks, Stream Deck. I'm glad that I paid for the upgrade. Brandon Honeycutt, your new race leader, but fast time just now was set by John Ross. Oh my. Watch John Ross here in the 44. He's now pushing around. Who is that in front of him? That's Eric Dodd in the 87. Eric Dodd's got to get this thing back under control.
Yeah, and I mean, it's going to be on edge this entire race. And 87 was up high. Definitely scary. Like you said, Eric Dodd's got to get that thing under control.
I mean, here's the thing. At a place like this, you've got to make it straight. You've got to be tight. Because we're going to take a look right here at the 41. That's Aaron Marquis. The Marquis de Wunder. And here you thought there was only one Marquis de Lafayette.
I feel like you're speaking a completely different language to me right now.
I mean, technically it is.
Oh,
French.
14.
There
this,
they go!
Campbell, can't speak fast enough. Lee Campbell takes Mettler with him, and I told you we should have said
Oh, easy there, big fella. Use a turn signal. He must be from New Jersey.
I mean,
don't stain your ride, use Tide.
Ooh, and the 41 of Marquis got a little close to Mettler there, too, that time. Ed Jurgen's kind of on an island on his own right now. I mean, he's got absolutely no one outside of him, but he's like keeping perfect pace with Lee Campbell and Mettler there. He's got to find a way to fall in. He's going to fall in there. I think Eric Dodd's the only guy still on the outside unless he found a hole. He did find a hole to fit in.
Lee Campbell finally gets everything together. Now, here's the interesting thing. We're going to start to see two groups break out here. And right now it looks like we've got about 8 cars in a row. That's Chantel Pottle bringing up the rear of the second pack. And this is where we start to see the cream rise to the top. The 26 of Brendan Wilcox moves up here into 6th position.
Every time someone says the cream rises to the top, all I want to do is pull out the Macho Man, accent. Ooh, yeah.
Last Thursday, I was absent from the broadcast booth as I was at an awards ceremony for the Pennsylvania Apartment Association. You are now listening to an award-winning maintenance manager, by the way. And I was so tempted, and there was enough alcohol in my bloodstream, which became a real problem by the end of the evening. But mostly because I was running low on it. But when I went to go collect an award, I almost did the Ric Flair strut. And I haven't watched wrestling since I'm like 12, but I was really ready to do it and then couldn't find my feet.
You know, and that's one of my, I freaking love Ric Flair. I mean, like, it's one of those things that everyone still screams woo. You know what I mean?
I do know.
I mean, it's just like what?
The what?
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 19 laps in the books. The field now lapping Bill Skinner as he did not get back on board with everybody else. Now the 13 of Brandon Honeycutt. Brandon Honeycutt. We have Brandon and Brendan, and I'm going to screw this up 48 times a season. If this is your first week with us, I'm really good with not reading well.
I mean, again, grammar and spelling apparently is why I'm not good enough to be a cop.
It's fine. It's one of those. You ever see the Little Giants? Do you like football? No. Do you play football?
Yeah.
No. Do you want to play football? No. Great, you can be on our team. Now we're starting to see 3 groups. Now let's check this out. Kirby Wainscott here at the end of group number 2, and then all the way back here to Eric Dodd, Richard Ode, and Curtis Ecker. These 3 drivers running together leave Alan Bergen all by his lonesome back here. I don't know how Alan lost the draft. It's big enough. Andrew Teft all by himself, and Skinner we know is down a lap. And it's not going to be long before this pack starts to catch up to Bergen and Teft, so they better start looking out.
Yeah, and it's one of those things is once you do lose that, it's going to be near impossible to get it back without having a caution. And I mean, with how these guys usually race week in and week out, they don't typically get those a ton. I mean, maybe towards the end of this thing, but I mean, not going to have a lot of opportunity to try and get that back.
22 laps in the books here at Talladega Super Speedway. Want to thank everybody for tuning in. We're going to step aside and pay some quick bills here, but don't go away. We'll go NASCAR side by side right here on Sim Racing Media.
The most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $400,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
Back here at the racetrack at Talladega for the Racers Elite Next Gen Series. We're 24 laps in, working lap number 25 as Brandon Honeycutt leads. Kensley Smith's going to be in second right now, 15 positions up from where he started, and DEI is looking to control this race from the front already.
You know, it feels good to know that DEI still has a presence at Talladega. And, you know, Brandon Honeycutt right now, with control of the field, now gets around Alan Bergen. We kind of called that right before going to break. And here we go, blowing the doors off of the 00. Kensley Smith running in P2, Diego Rodriguez in third, Shea Cox and Leroy Koblenz make up your top 5. But that's only for now. I mean, folks, what you see here on lap number 26 is it's not even going to be close by the time we hit lap number 75.
Yeah, and I mean, it's going to be one of those things where people are also going to have to like really think about their strategy here of how they want to do this. You know, you want to make sure that you have more than just, you know, for if you're Brandon Honeycutt and Kensley Smith, you'd like to have a couple more people than just the two of you. So, I mean, you've really got to hope that you can get the entire pack that you have with you right now to kind of commit to working with you. But, I mean, that's easier said than done.
Green flag pit stop's about to be underway as Brandon Honeycutt leads this piece now on lap number 27. Let's see if we can watch maybe where in and around the 20, maybe Diego Rodriguez. We might start to see some of these leaders come down this lap.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to tell because you never know when people are actually going to think about it. And looks like just Wilcox and Diego Rodriguez are going to be the two. And Wilcox may have entered too fast there.
Well, I guess we'll find out if he winds up having to serve that 40-second hold penalty as Brandon Honeycutt stays out there. But right now it's Rodriguez, Wilcox, Mettler, Jurgen, Marquis, Campbell, and Falsetta all coming down. And that's Nicholas Falsetta. What is this on the front of his car? What is that? You're a wrestling guy. Is that a wrestling thing?
It looks, I mean, it looks like one CW, but I don't think that's one one CW. I would like to know for sure, because with one CW that, it might be in my area, but not entirely sure.
Couldn't really get a good look at it. Brandon Honeycutt still staying out here on lap number 28. He's followed by Kenzie Smith and Leroy Koblenz. Shea Cox just drops out of line. Here's the thing. I mean, I'm not here to judge anybody, because Lord knows I was a terrible enough driver that it forced me up here into the broadcast booth. But to be fair, the broadcast booth pays me, and racing certainly didn't. But, as I sit here and I'm watching this, why would you come down alone?
Yeah, I mean, and that's what I was saying, is you're going to want to have people to work with. So why would you come alone? It's never fun to come alone when you're here at Talladega.
Especially when you're Shea Cox. Cox definitely shouldn't have come alone, as Brandon Honeycutt still stays out here. I'm curious to see when we're going to see this. I think Curtis Ecker was just on race radio calling it out. He's going to be coming down next in the Jack Daniels with Coca-Cola Chevrolet Camaro. And are they going to come with him? Yes, they're all going to come together. Back out here on the racetrack, it looks like most of our drivers, let's see, Honeycutt, Smith, Koblenz, basically everybody out here through 11th position. They all came down on laps 5 and 6 during that first initial caution, but I just feel like this is going to be, especially depending on who's around you, this may be a fuel. Nope, we are doing 4 tires then to tank a go fast.
Tires is interesting to me, because I mean, when I raced here in my truck league, I accidentally took right side tires only and fueled the rest of the race for a 75 lap distance.
31 laps in the books. We're just a little bit closer to halfway as we get even better here. Looks like these top 11 drivers are still going to stay out here. I didn't realize that they had taken that much fuel, or how they're staying out here the way that they are.
Yeah, I mean, those guys did come down lap 5 and 6, during that caution. I'm just looking over here at the side. So, as we say that, they come down now. But they are certainly not coming alone. They have both the teammates of John Ross and Leroy Koblenz, and then the 2 DEI cars of Kenzie Smith and Brandon Honeycutt. So certainly going to have a lot of help on the way out here.
Brandon Honeycutt comes in and drops out of 7th. That leaves the double nickel of Truth Hoke with Rob Yost, Paul Shaw, Dennis Kane, Alex Teft, and Kirby Wainscott remaining out on the racetrack. So now we're going to have about 4 different groups out on the racetrack. That's an interesting choice. You would have thought that everybody would have tried to come down at least close to one another. So there's a little bit of strategery here, if you will. Now the 83 backs off almost instantly. He just goes up for a breath of fresh air there to get that in the grill of his Toyota Camry. As we roll it here out of turn 4 back toward the front stretch, these drivers still not showing a signal of coming down pit road. 3, 2, 1. Here they go around through the tri-oval, heading back toward the start-finish line for lap number 33.
Yeah, and I'd imagine that these guys won't be much longer by any means. I would imagine next time around they would be, coming down and getting their service. It just doesn't make sense to go too much longer. I mean, it's one of those things that the sooner the better.
Well, somebody's going to have to make a decision to give it the old Hawk Tua and make this thing come on down pit road.
There they come.
Here we go.
Down at the same time.
Now our top 6 are all going to come down pit road at the same time. This will complete the green flag cycle of pit stops, and Brandon Honeycutt out here with Kenzie Smith in tow with a fresh set of tires and a full tank of fuel is ready to take on this next segment of the race as we're here on lap number 33. Dave Regal and Jordan Brockell with you here in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth. We want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight as we work lap number 33 on week number 2 at least for my money, the best racetrack on the circuit.
Yeah, and I mean, you can see here, I wonder what happened to Cobblins. Because he was right there with the 13, 15, and 44. But he's down in 22nd right now. It looks like he came, I mean, I'm not sure what happened.
Going to take a look here at our SRM teammates. Here's Matt Metler running in 10th. Now he's got Lee Campbell just behind him, Ed Jurgen behind him. Now he's starting to draft right into the 10. They're going to go to the high side. Check this move out by our boy Matty Metler. Oh my, they go side by side now. He's got the 83 of Rob Yost Jr. just below him. And they just blew the doors off of that group. These guys are tighter than a snare drum. Oh! We nearly saw Aaron Marquis just bang here into the low line without clearance. He manages to parallel park it between there, but woof, that was close to disaster.
Yeah, we've seen a couple moves like that so far. I know Brandon Honeycutt had one earlier where, I mean, it didn't even look like there was an actual car's length in between the two cars that he was merging into, but made it work. But Lee Campbell all over the back of Matt Metler in a very uneasy sort of way.
Matt Metler running in 6th position now. He leads this second group. Brandon Wilcox anchoring the next group, and he's got the 98 of Andrew Teft, who's down a lap just behind him. This is starting to become an interesting move here. Watch as they work around the 42. That's Leroy Koblenz, whatever. He's a hockey fan, gotta be. He's from Canada. Are you allowed to be a Canadian that doesn't like hockey?
I feel like it's in the National Canadian Handbook. If you don't like hockey, you have to, be citizenshiped, whatever you want to call it, uncitizenship, and then sent to
deported.
Like Texas.
Oh my goodness. To go from Canada to Texas. Oof.
Oh yeah, no. Going from Canada to Texas is like opening an oven and throwing yourself into it.
Might be too soon. 1945 wasn't that long ago. The thing is, and I think about this, like Canada's like a loft apartment above a really great party. Everybody down here screaming, hooting, and hollering, and they just want to go up there and read. They're reading a little bit of Danielle Steele with a lamp on and maybe a glass of wine on the table while we're all down here hooting and hollering.
Yeah, but hooting and hollering is all I feel like we know how to do. When it comes to thinking with our brain, I don't do that at all.
There's a crayon in my brain?
I mean, I was told that I looked like the kind of person that would randomly just look up and eat a crayon. So.
I mean, some of them really smell good, like those smelly crayons from back in the day, and the smelly markers, the Mr. Sketch deals.
The smelly markers. Look, I'm not saying that I. Look,
Yes,
I'm just gonna say at a young age, I guess I had a drug addiction to smelly markers. Honestly.
I think everybody did. Smelly markers and rubber cement.
And that's probably why a lot of us don't necessarily have the brain power that matches our age.
Let me ask this question, because I don't know, and you know what? I know who to ask. Let me text old Honey Buns here, see if she got an answer.
Oh, Lord. Whoa, little out of line there for John Ross, and that's going to scare me each and every time you see someone step out to the right really quick and move back to the left.
We're waiting an answer on rubber cement. Just curious about something.
Uh,
I mean, I know glue sticks are. My kid had to have glue sticks to go back to school. A lot of stuff that you got to bring
cement.
yourself now.
Yeah, rubber cement was definitely outlawed in school. I had to get it for my art class when I started my 1.5 years of college, and I remember it leaked open, and all of the paintbrushes and everything that I had, all of that in the bottom container was stuck together. And let me tell you, the smell when I first opened up that container, because it was like almost air-sealed container, the way that it sealed, all of that vapor and everything came out. I mean, I'll talk about high. I'd be like, "Hi, how are you?" to no one.
Well, that wasn't really a good solid answer. Rubber cement may not be a thing anymore.
No, it's gotta be still a thing.
I don't. You know what? Let's go and check with our good friend Jeff Bezos.
You know, and I was just doing that.
Here we go. Go to the old Amazon. Amazon.
Amazon. You know what else you can find on Amazon?
What's
My
that?
brand new book.
Let's talk about that. Yes,
Yeah,
it
it's
still
awesome.
it still exists.
Yeah,
Oh my
it's still
god!
very much a thing. And Gorilla has it. Gorilla Glue has it.
Great.
It.
You can glue children to walls.
See, but that's the problem. Is I would be trying that still to this day, trying to glue myself to a wall. I'm just smarter now to maybe put something there that like I won't actually stick my skin to the wall. As a teenager, I probably wouldn't have thought that far, but
This is interesting stuff.
there's no wrinkle rubber cement.
Best test paper cement. No wrinkling, no curling, no shrinking. And look, it comes in a can that
No
screams.
shrinking. I know what I'm doing with that.
No. This thing comes in a can with a logo that screams flammable. Oh, look! It
And
even
the
says
thing
over
is-
the front of it, "Danger flammable."
The thing is every time they put the flammable on there, it didn't deter me from setting it on fire. I wanted to. I just was scared it was going to actually explode like a I don't know if I'm allowed to say that word.
Oh, you can say explode.
No, I meant the BOMB word. Can we get swatted for that?
Now we're fine.
Okay, yeah, I didn't know if it would explode like a freaking bomb or something in my face.
Nah. It's flammable, yes. So, we're talking to a child who grew up in a firehouse and surrounds his life with all things fire suppression related. But, no, it does not explode unless it's heated and under pressure. Like, needs to be in a well-ventilated area.
That's
Which,
no
of
fun.
course, they always made sure that the heat was on and that the windows were closed when it was time to break out the rubber cement in art class.
Exactly.
You know
I
what the
think they
best
did
part
that
about when
so-
we get to
I
work
think
together
it-
is...
I think that was... What's that?
You know what the best part is about when we get to work together?
What's that?
We're currently on rubber cement.
Yeah. I mean, it's fun. But, what I was going to say to that about, the room was hot and the windows were closed, I think that's how they forced us to have nap time.
Yeah, make you so high that you can't keep your eyes open.
Exactly.
Now it just takes a couple, adult beverages of strong persuasion. Speaking of which,
Pretty
my
much.
dad's coming down here. I wonder if he's going to drop any of that off on his way through.
Well, he's probably. I don't doubt it at all.
That's the best part, when your dad's a part-time pastor and still brings you liquor.
Yeah, and that's what I always found funny is, you expect them to be one way. It's the same thing with teachers. You expect teachers to be very proper and unfun, and then you find out that your teachers all go to after work, like margaritas and beer, and talk about how terrible the students are all day long. And as an adult, you're like, wow, yeah, I would do the same thing.
I would like to think that I'm the reason that some of my teachers developed heavy drinking problems.
I certainly am that guy. 100%.
Well, I'll tell you what, I had an experience last week that I have not in my... As much as I love history, and first off, let's get back to the race real quick and give an update here as we have just gone down so many rabbit holes. Brandon Honeycutt, Kensley Smith, John Ross, and Diego Rodriguez, they're your top 5, and we see 3 of those top 5 here together with the 8 car of Bill Skinner, who's actually running technically dead last here in this first group. Then we look back here to where Brendan Wilcox is. Now it's Wilcox, Rodriguez, Mettler, Campbell. They're all together. This is a pretty big group, and these guys can't get it together right now to try to catch this front group of 4. See, it's so much easier on a racetrack right now, at least on this particular racetrack, where, you're looking at it, it only takes 4 guys to get organized. Back here where Rob Yost is, this is like trying to herd cats.
I mean, yeah, it's like trying to pull the very bottom Jenga piece out and not topple over the entire, stack.
You were that guy.
I was that guy, yeah.
I got you being that guy. It's fine.
Most of the time it was because I was done with the game and I wanted to play something else. I would try to take
what are the rules
hand...
of something else?
Huh?
Oh, I thought you meant like something else was a game. Get it? See what I did there? I'm a dad, and I'm legally obligated to insert stupid dad jokes and puns everywhere.
I'm still in training. I'm only a 2-year vet, or 2-year experience as a father.
Oh, it's not even fun yet.
Oh no, not at all. I mean, certainly I have a.
You just said that it was not fun to be a dad. I just got you. You're welcome.
It's one of those things. I have a hurricane of a child.
Yeah, no, I get it.
And
it's called the terrible twos for a reason, sir.
The thing is, the terrible twos happened at 1.5, and is currently ramping up to even more. I called him Theodorus Rex for a reason. He's a little T-Rex.
My man.
Running, stomping, and jumping off stuff all the time like he's Jeff Hardy.
That's fair. I feel like that's on brand. I feel like that's legit. Nope, we got through the terrible twos without too much crisis. My daughter is 5, and she's a daredevil. She has no fear and basically no craps given. I'll be like, listen, do you want to climb this 400-foot tall tower? Yeah, let's go. Okay. No harness.
Yeah, I mean, Theodore is at that part where he just doesn't have any fear. But what I don't understand is when he's not in that mood, like if he's like not focused on like, hey, this is dangerous, and smacks his face, he starts crying. But I've seen this man full on 100% smash his entire face on the floor, hop up and take off running again like nothing happened. But he does it, and he doesn't hit his face, and he's just like, and I'm like, dude, yeah, I don't understand. Like, you just mashed your face 5 minutes ago and you were fine. You landed on your belly and now you're crying.
That seems about fair. 50 laps in the books. We're 2/3 of the way through this piece. Brandon Honeycutt, your race leader. Aaron Marquis here. He's one of our movers, but not the biggest mover. Right now, biggest mover of the race is Kensley Smith in the number 15, up 15 spots, and he's only got 1 more to go. And I've watched Kensley Smith for the last year or so here in this league, and my God, he's not setting up, he's loading.
Oh, absolutely. And we always talk about how Brandon Honeycutt is always that, he has a tendency to be the bridesmaid and not the bride. And even though he's a teammate, I think he would block Kensley Smith from the bottom to the top and everywhere possible, make that car 3 lanes wide just to keep Kensley Smith behind him.
Well, with 51 laps in the books, we're going to step aside and pay some bills on Sim Racing Media. I'm Dave Regal, he's Jordan Brockell, and this is the Racers Elite Cup Series.
With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
Masker can't defend. He's got the outside line for the second part, and he can't hold on.
Going the long way around. We're going to be 3 wide for the lead as they all come to the line. Who is going to take it in the end?
And here comes Lockwood. He's going to make the move to the outside. Quinn tries to force him off a little bit, but there he goes. It's going to be side by side through turn 1.
Will he be able to cover him off? He does. Weaving back to the left-hand side. Reynolds is trying everything. The kitchen sink is being thrown at it.
They're leaning on each other. Coming into turn number 3. It's going to be a drag race through 3 and 4. Coming back to the line. Here comes Frisch on the bottom.
Richard's going to hold the inside. Tries to be the late breaker here. They're going to be side by side through the final chicane. They bang doors, but keep it clean.
As they're still 4 wide on the run down into the back straightaway. Demerit's looking for a line as well. What is going on in Michigan?
Novak into the fence. They're still beating and banging.
Oh
and to the line.
He is much faster coming through there. Is there damage on Challenger? Abramitis is ahead. There's going to be a race to the line. Who is going to get it?
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to Talladega Super Speedway, where the Racers Elite Cup Series is under green flag pit stops once again. 19 laps to go. Dave Regal and Jordan Brockell with you here in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth. We want to thank you for welcoming us into your homes, onto your phones, wherever you may be listening.
Yeah, Rob Yost is actually currently the leader right now. Brandon Honeycutt and Kensley Smith and company there came down pit road while we were under commercial break. And, I'd expect these guys not to be too much longer as, we're going to be able to get to the end here for some of these guys that are pitting now. It's going to be one more stop, and then we're going to see everybody try to track down that front pack, which will probably switch out to be Brandon Honeycutt and Kensley Smith once again. Looks like John Ross and actually is now the leader of said pack. Alex Teft and Paul Shaw are going to come down pit road now. But it's going to be one of those things where you're going to have to just find a way to keep yourself in a perfect straight line to where, you carry all the momentum that you possibly can. And it's going to be difficult. Once you have 10 cars in a line, 5 cars in a line, not easy to keep that air, flying over the entire draft pack. Just it's going to be a struggle. You see here, you can see now, they're not even in an organized line, and this is losing valuable time as, Brandon Honeycutt, Kensley Smith, and John Ross have been able to keep it in a perfectly, organized line, just the 3 of them, and nose to tail the entire time. So, they're able to keep their speed. Right now, on our data, John Ross, Brandon Honeycutt were doing about 195 to, Rob Yost and everything. They were only hitting about 188 for a moment there. So, the 3-car group of John Ross, Honeycutt, and Smith definitely carrying more momentum than this 5 to 6 car group up here at the front, as they're all going to peel off and come down pit road here. As it looks like Lee Campbell's just going to stay out.
Lee Campbell stays out. He's going to try to get himself a little bit of track position here, as he's going to stay up here. It's painted as the 14, but it's scored as the 60. Truth Hoke, Dennis Kane, Rob Yost, Kirby Wainscott, and Chantel Pottle all come down pit road. Now, that leaves the question, when does John Ross come down? Nope, John Ross was just down. It just updated now. So this is going to be the last group of drivers that's on pit road now getting ready to come off, and that cycles John Ross to the lead.
Yeah, and like I was saying, this group has been able to keep themselves pretty, close together and in line. So while they may be just 3 and now 4 cars, they've been able to keep more momentum and more speed than just about any group of cars here tonight.
Sometimes at a place like this, when you get that certain mix of drivers together, they can really hold it together. I do appreciate you covering for me while the phone rang. Dear old dad gave me the old ring-a-ling on the jingling, if you will. 13 seconds between Brendan Wilcox and Kensley Smith. Right now, your podium, if the race finished this second, would be John Ross, Brandon Honeycutt, and Kensley Smith. And we're going to hear Honeycutt and Smith's name called often and always toward the top of the pile, as just in front of them, we can start to see some of these lapped cars trying to battle it out. Now, we see Alan Bergen. Now he's getting ready to draft up to the rear of the 27. That's Nick Falsetta. And wow, what a bump. Now watch the 44 of John Ross, as now John Ross is going to have to get behind Alan Bergen. Oh, good God. Hang on to it tight, Alan. The leaders are below you. Alan has a choice here. Do you get out of the way, or do you now suddenly become the fuel pig for the leaders?
Alan looks like he's going to be the fuel pig, but if I'm Alan, I'm getting out of the way. I'm not going to be that guy that gets called some choice words. There he goes. Choice words if you do happen to lose it.
14 laps to go. Brandon Honeycutt following John Ross, and all of a sudden we're starting to see some of these numbers go from white to red now. No yellow or orange in between there either. They just went from nice and spread out to tightening up here, and we're starting to see more tandem pairs.
Yeah, and honestly, I'm not sure how that's going to work out. Haven't really seen anybody work with that here as of late. But, we've seen it work to a good effect on restarts where 2 guys get linked up and don't, back off of each other whatsoever and just push, and, they're 5 to 6 seconds faster already.
13 to go here at the line. John Ross leading the way. He's on the backstretch right now with Brandon Honeycutt, and there's a lot of real estate between many of these drivers. Kensley Smith here running in third, and then 14 seconds way back here to Brendan Wilcox. And I mean, Wilcox, even if we go on live with him, they can't even see those leaders right now, as we're now going to cycle up to Brandon Honeycutt. Now we're going to watch Honeycutt here just behind John Ross. You can check him out there. That's at Ross Racing 99 over on Twitch. But we should probably stay right here on Sim Racing Media. We just want to make sure we plug him where we should. And Dr. Enough is the sponsor here on the front of the 13. And I finally got a hold of some of that stuff, and wow. Just wow.
Yeah, I've been looking into it.
Nope, I'm a fan. Enough is enough.
Enough is enough. Dr. Enough.
The other thing that I got into while I was down in Myrtle Beach a couple of months ago was cheer wine. By the way, cheer wine is delicious with vodka.
Cheer wine is just good in general.
It really is. It's like it's not a I can't even describe. It's not like cherry soda, but it's not soda. It's just. But I saw it on a race car in. Oh, I forget what league that was. Just forgot it. I don't remember what it was. That's the rubber cement talking. But needless to say, I saw it in a league, and there were multiple drivers that just thought that this stuff was, the bee's knees. And so I went and checked it out at the Kroger down there in Myrtle Beach. And wow, what a life-changing beverage.
Yeah, and my friends, when they first found out, like, we were going to, I want to say it's a cookout, like the joint, like, is called Cookout. And I was like, no, I've never had it. And they're like, well, do you want one? And I kept saying, like, yo, cherry wine is good. Cherry wine is good. And I kept telling them, like, it's cheer wine. And I was like,
You never like being the person that has to be corrected.
No, not at all. I mean, it's the worst, because then you feel like a toddler.
Like if we go somewhere and I hear you mispronounce something one time, I'll whisper it to you so that you don't sound, crazy the second time. I'm trying to be polite and just be like, okay, listen, it's not said that way. Like when people read Reading, Pennsylvania, sometimes they read reading because it's spelled like Reading, Pennsylvania. I will correct somebody. First off, that's the homestead. But second of all, I don't want you to sound like you don't know what you're talking about. Like if I'm playing Monopoly with a bunch of strangers, hey, that's the Reading Railroad, not the Reading Railroad. What?
Yeah, because I never put two and two together that it's Reading.
The Reading Railroad on the Monopoly board was one of the original 4 railroads. Of course, you should know what the B&O Railroad means.
Nope.
Baltimore and Ohio.
Nope, never. I mean, I don't ride the train, so.
I do. I do take Amtrak when I go to, D.C. or New York. I did take Amtrak down to spring training last year in 2023. What an experience that was. 9 laps to go here at Talladega Super Speedway. But got a chance to take Amtrak all the way down to Florida, and wow, what a great trip.
Yeah, I mean, trains aren't bad, but I don't know. I always have, this weird, strange, what is the term of it? Irrational fear that it's everything is going to go dark, everyone's going to disappear, and suddenly I'm in the middle of a horror movie.
It's fine. Don't worry about it. It's fine. If you don't worry about it, it's not a fear.
But see, that's the problem, is I have one of those minds that has to worry about every single thing.
I mean, I get that 1,000%. I used to be a terrible overthinker, and then it turned out that I could just break things down to something simple.
See, but my brain doesn't think simply at all. I am simple, as in my brain is simple.
Well, yeah, fart jokes make you laugh.
I mean, dude, wish I could understand the fact that I was crying after I, ripped one next to my dad and he started coughing. I was in tears. Like, I am
That's
a
when
child.
you've become a man.
Oh,
For some
100%.
folks, like a bar mitzvah in the Jewish community, that's becoming a man, or, whatever the opposite of a quinceañera is for the Spanish community. That's how you become a woman or a man, or however that works. I don't know. Or certain surgeries can make you a man, but when you can rip a fart and make your dad cry, that's truly a life accomplishment.
Yeah. And my, my dad will certainly be one of those guys too to still do it back at me. So, we're very simple in more ways than one.
I've always told the joke, and this is no word of a lie. In the fire department, you have a bunch of normal human beings operating big behemoths of machines, right? The guy driving the ladder truck rips a fart, locks the windows, and I can't open it, and I'm dying of ventilation. Right?
Mm-hmm.
How is a man that's driving a $1.8 million piece of apparatus still fascinated by farts?
It's because we're simple-minded people. We find the funniness in the simplicity of a fart. It's just hilarious.
Everybody does it. But and I say everybody does it, but think of Jesus Christ having to fart. Like he just had some bread there and some wine, and they're all reclining there, and they're kind of pescatarian. They were always eating fish in the Bible, and you get like the fish farts. Do you think Jesus just sat there and let one rip?
100%. 100%.
I mean,
unless as being him, like, could magically just like not have to do that. I mean, the man could make. It's been a while since I've.
You
been...
can walk on water, and you can make water into wine. Can you make farts disappear?
Right.
The blind can walk, or I'm sorry, the blind can see, the lame can walk, the farts disappear. I can hear a whole new psalm being written. Well,
that's broken me. That one, you usually break me, but that one's got me. Absolutely.
You are welcome. Oh dear Lord.
As Dave Regal still has to compose himself, whatever. John Ross, Honeycutt, and Kensley Smith still leading out here in this three-car tandem with 3 laps to go. Wilcox is actually falling back to about 14 seconds of a gap, so not making any time there. So, I mean, the last thing these guys want to see is a caution. A caution, and it changes everything. But as it stands now, I don't see these guys losing anything whatsoever here.
3 laps to go. Here comes John Ross out of turn number 4, heading back toward the start-finish line as we come into the tri-oval. Again, we talk about this all the time, but that start-finish line was moved down beyond the apex of the tri-oval because Big Bill France wanted to sell more seats down toward turns 1 and 2. And as we cross the start-finish line, the Popsicle Sticks go in the air, and we're 2 laps to go.
Yeah,
now I've got to keep my
here.
wits about me as we roll out of turn number 2. It's John Ross, Brandon Honeycutt, and Kensley Smith. The question becomes, which one of these guys makes the move and when do they do it? We know that it's going to be in the tri-oval. We know that, and right now, if you look where Kensley Smith is, Kensley Smith doesn't have that foot all the way to the pedal. Let's take a look right here at his dashboard and see where his foot is on the dash. And there you can see just a little bit of gray. He's just barely backing off of that thing. And as we come through the Geico restart zone, the Popsicle Sticks go down, the white flag is in the air, and we're racing back to checkers. Final lap here, and I think this is where Kensley Smith gets ready to load for bear.
Yeah, but the thing that I'm also thinking is, does Kensley Smith, settle for a second just to get, and there it goes. Pushing Brandon Honeycutt past, and now it answers my question.
Here they go.
It's gonna
They
be a
just
drag
left
race
the
for the two
44
of
in the
them.
dust. They've been practicing this. Oh, my God. Coming into turn number 3. Kensley Smith trailing Brandon Honeycutt. They just left John Ross in the dust as if he decided they just left him at the bar to pay the tab. Here comes the 15. Let's see if he decides to take a run here at the 13 of Brandon Honeycutt. They come into the tri-oval. He's going to mash that foot to the floor in the Geico restart zone, but he doesn't have enough. The 13 of Brandon Honeycutt crosses the line first, and Brandon Honeycutt is your winner here at Talladega Superspeedway in week number 2.
Yeah, and that actually absolutely worked to perfection for the two of them. Kensley Smith just unable to, get by him there with no momentum.
John Ross has already removed himself from the track.
I would too, because that's got to be a heartbreak.
That definitely stings a little. He looked ahead as they ran for the door at the bar, and he said, "I thought we were friends." They were like, "That's right, buddy. You got the tab this time." Oh my God, what a finish for Brandon Honeycutt.
I mean, that's one of those things where John Ross is the guy that can't commit to the dine and dash. The other two can, and he's just stuck there.
Good Lord.
Brandon Honeycutt coming away with the win here. And honestly, that's going to be great for him, as he's always usually, like I said earlier in the broadcast, usually the bridesmaid to lose the spot just in the last bit. But gets that win, door bangs his teammate of Kensley Smith there. But it's one of those things where he's finally got it. Kensley Smith doing burnouts out here. I feel like they should allow that in the real world, simply because most of the time you wouldn't have that win if it wasn't for the guy that was helping you. So let both of them do burnouts. And what an effort by John Ross. You have the lead, and it's one of those things that you're just not gonna, overpower two teammates. So, he did his best, and he just comes up short. But that's just the nature of being stuck in front of, teammates. It's a losing situation. Brandon Honeycutt, it's Jordan and Dave in the booth. You got a copy?
I thought we were friends.
I thought so too, but I guess not.
Where did Brandon Honeycutt disappear to?
Brandon Honeycutt is not a talker. I have noticed that.
I see that. Well, then go ahead and take Kensley Smith here.
Kensley Smith, it's Jordan and Dave in the booth. You got a copy?
How's it going?
Hey man, so you guys are coming out of turns 3 and 4 and are coming down the backstretch, leaving Ross in the dust. That looked orchestrated to the point where you guys have practiced that a million times.
Well, we're teammates, so we do a lot of these restricted play or super speedway tracks. And there's no restricted plates anymore, but a lot of these super speedway tracks, me, Honeycutt, and the rest of our team, we usually run this pretty good. And we're usually towards the front on these tracks, so we've got it pretty down pat when it comes to this.
Yes, certainly, and you guys called your shot going down the backstretch, and it never looked back. And was there anything? Was there in the plans that you could have possibly gotten around him, or were thinking about getting around him, or were you just going to push him to the win? Or was there anything you could have done differently if you were going for the win?
You're talking about if I got around Honeycutt or tried to get around Honeycutt?
Yeah, like coming down the front stretch there. Was it in your mind to just push him to the win, or Yeah,
it was just push him to the win. I'd rather have a team win than us fight it out and end up wrecking out and not crossing the start finish line. So 1-2 is better than last and second to last. So
Certainly, and every time we come to these plate races, that's one of the big things that I talk about is how you guys at DEI are probably the most realist thing to a team. I'd say almost on the sim in general, just because you guys work and orchestrate yourself as a full-on team. Every time you guys are either 1-2 or 1-3 or 2-3, trying to get past one, like you guys are always right there for these plate races. So I want to congratulate you on the second. And before we send you on your way, is there anybody you want to thank and shout out?
of course, my team, DEI, just like tonight, we always work very well together. And we always do good at all the other tracks too. We practice sometimes and get together and bounce ideas off of each other for different tracks and stuff like that. And then of course Andrew putting on the league for us, and you guys at SRM for putting on the broadcast, and my daughter for sitting here watching me do this every night, and my girlfriend Ashlyn.
All right, brother. Well, congrats on the second, and we'll catch you on another one.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, as always, to Kensley Smith. I know that this isn't going to be the first time that we hear from him, and I'll tell you what, this is definitely not going to be the last time either. John Rossi, Dave Regal up in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
I have you, Dave.
Hey, Ross, listen. I mean, Bell Buckle, Tennessee has got to be proud tonight. I mean, look, you kind of got left in the dust there. I felt like Honeycutt and Smith just left you at the bar to pay the tab.
Yeah, I kind of knew that was going to happen. We had my teammate was up there with us before. I think that second with that first green flag pit stop, and I think he got a pit road penalty for speeding, and so I knew that was kind of going to happen. There's really not a whole lot you can do at that point, and I saw them setting me up for a couple of laps. I thought it was really going to be out of 4, but I saw them back off. I tried to slow down a little bit in 2, but I think my only option, I got out that very last pit stop, green flag pit stop. I jumped them by about 2.7 seconds, and I tried to tag on to one of the lap cars, and I was just far enough away where they were able to catch me. That was really the only chance that I had.
Yeah, sometimes you only get one chance, and unfortunately, it's not always the greatest opportunity, but you got to push where you can. I mean, Talladega is a monster, and you guys managed to do it with just one caution tonight. How does that feel when you're out on the racetrack and you know that everybody's doing their job and pointing in the right direction?
Yeah, I think it is great. I think it's a testament to the league and the drivers that are in the league, and especially at these plate races, because you have really two options, right? You get these long green flag runs, or it becomes a wreck fest. And with one fast repair in the league, sometimes you think, well, people are going to take a lot more chances, but everybody did a fantastic job tonight, and you can kind of see how fuel strategy can play out, and you really get to see drafting and how those that can really hold a line and draft hard, you can see the difference in speed in them.
Without a doubt, and speed is definitely the name of the game when you're here at 2.66 mile Talladega Super Speedway. Next week, we head to Charlotte Motor Speedway to the Roval. That's going to be a different animal in and of itself. But before we cut you loose tonight, who do you need to thank, and who helped you get it done on the 44?
Yeah, first I want to thank my teammate Leroy, and I hate that he got the pit road penalty, because I think we had a really good thing. It would have been 2v2 there at the end, and we could have had a bit of a different result. But want to thank him. Sim Motion, of course, is the sponsor on the car. If you need anything Sim Motion wise, if you'll go to their website, and if you when you get ready to check out, use code 802, and it gets you 5% off of anything. So saves you a little bit of cash. And want to thank you guys in the booth for putting on a great broadcast, as you always do, and Andrew for running the league. Certainly a great league, great testament to these drivers tonight.
Without a doubt, we appreciate the kind words tonight, my friend, and we will see you next week at Charlotte Motor Speedway.
Thank you, Dave.
Well, Jordan, another one in the books here in the Racers Elite Cup Series, and what a barn burner this one was. I really thought that things were going to heat up a little bit more toward the end, but they managed to keep it clean, and as they almost always do in this league. So definitely staying on brand. Let's take one final look at our results here from Talladega Superspeedway. Brandon Honeycutt brings home the checkered flag, and he's followed by Kensley Smith and John Ross on the podium. Brendan Wilcox and Diego Rodriguez fill out the rest of your top 5, while Dennis Kane, Kirby Wainscott, Matt Metler, Ed Jurgen, and Rob Yost make up your top 10. Paul Shaw comes home in 11th, while Alex Teft out of Hope Valley, Rhode Island, comes home in 12th. Chantel Pottle from north of the border, he comes home in 13th, while 14th goes to Lee Campbell. Aaron Marquis and Andrew Tefter in 15th and 16th, with Shay Cox in 17th. Larry Koblenz once again makes his finish here in 18th after getting the little shout out from his teammate who finished in 3rd tonight, while 19th is Truth Hoke. 20th is Nicholas Falsetto, while Eric Dodd, Bill Skinner, Richard Ode, Curtis Ecker, and Alan Bergen make up the 25 drivers who finished tonight's race. It's been an interesting one here, and as always, this has been a great time to hang out with you, my man.
It's always a great time, and like I said, like we've said before, it's more than just commentating here. It's a show. We put on a show here and just have laughs and talk, and that's what makes it so simple up here when it's me and you, Dave. It's a ton of fun.
Absolutely. Well, for myself, Dave Regal, and my broadcast partner extraordinaire, Mr. Jordan Brockel, we want to thank you for tuning in. We want to thank you for welcoming us into your homes, onto your phones, wherever you may be and however you may be listening. And tomorrow and every day as you walk down the road of life, please don't play in traffic. Good night, everybody.